In modern times, Christmas has become a widely celebrated cultural and religious holiday. Beyond its religious roots, it has evolved into a season of joy, festivities, and a time for family and community gatherings. This is the time of year when the majority of sales occur and the economy is at its strongest. But is it really a Christian holiday, or are the people celebrating something else? Are we sure that Jesus was actually born on the 25th of December? What proof is there? This might come as a surprise, but the exact date of Jesus Christ's birth is not specified in the Bible. It does not provide a specific day or month for the birth of Jesus, but just some details about the events surrounding his birth. In the Gospel of Luke and the Gospel of Matthew, it is mentioned that Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea during the reign of King Herod, but neither specifies the date. The shepherds were in the fields at night when Jesus was born, suggesting a time frame around spring or summer rather than December. The date of December 25th was chosen later as a symbolic and convenient day for Christians to celebrate the birth of Jesus, rather than being based on specific biblical evidence regarding the actual date of his birth. In the 4th century, when Christianity became the state religion of the Roman Empire under Emperor Constantine, there was an effort to integrate Christian celebrations with existing pagan festivals. December 25th was already associated with various pagan celebrations, including the Roman festival of Saturnalia and the birthday of the sun god Sol Invictus. By choosing December 25th for Christmas, Christian leaders aimed to provide an alternative focus for the celebrations during this time. The choice of December 25th for celebrating Christmas was adopted by the early Christian church and may have been influenced by various factors, including efforts to Christianize existing pagan festivals. The roots of Christmas intertwine with the ancient Roman festival of Saturnalia, a celebration of the god Saturn. During Saturnalia, social norms were overturned, where masters might serve their slaves, and festivities included feasting, gift-giving, merrymaking, homosexuality, and all sorts of abominations. It's important to note that Saturnalia was a Roman festival, and it took place in a different cultural and historical context compared to the region of Bethlehem and the events associated with Jesus' birth. Bethlehem is located in the Middle East, and the cultural and religious practices of the people in this region, including those of ancient Judea, differed from those in ancient Rome. Over time, some elements of Saturnalia found their way into Christmas celebrations. The tradition of decorating a Christmas tree has again deep pagan origins. December 25th falls close to the winter solstice, the shortest day and longest night of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. In Germanic and Northern European regions, the celebration of the winter solstice was often linked to agricultural and cosmic cycles, symbolizing the rebirth of the sun and the gradual lengthening of daylight. It was a time to acknowledge the changing seasons, the renewal of life, and the hope for the return of warmth and abundance. In pagan traditions, evergreen trees like the pine tree were associated with life, fertility, and the enduring spirit of nature, as they stayed green throughout the year, even in winter. Germanic tribes were the ones who brought evergreen trees into their homes and decorated them as a representation of life enduring through the winter months. The tradition of bringing an evergreen tree into the home and decorating it gained popularity in 16th century Germany. By the 19th century, it had become a widespread Christmas custom in Europe and, later, in North America. Santa Claus, derived from the Dutch Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas is a traditional figure in Dutch folklore who is celebrated on the evening of December 5th, known as Sinterklaasavond or St. Nicholas Eve. While Sinterklaas has historical roots in Christian traditions, his connection to the birth of Jesus is indirect. St. Nicholas, the inspiration for Sinterklaas, was a 4th century bishop in Myra, Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey. He is depicted as an elderly man with a white beard, wearing a red bishop's robe and a mitre, and became known for his acts of generosity, such as secretly providing gifts to those in need. The modern image of Santa, with a red suit and flying reindeer, was popularized through various cultural influences, including Coca-Cola's advertisements in the 1930s. It's important to note that Sinterklaas is a cultural and folkloric figure with roots in Christian traditions, but his celebration is distinct from any religious observance. In Islam, Jesus, Isa in Arabic, holds a revered status as one of the mightiest prophets. While the birth of Jesus is acknowledged, Islam doesn't specify a date for it. The Quran mentions the story of Jesus' birth in Surah Maryam, chapter 19. From verse 22 to verse 26, Allah says, "So she conceived him, and she withdrew with him to a remote place. And the pains of childbirth drove her to the trunk of a palm tree. She said, 'Oh, I wish I had died before this and was in oblivion forgotten.' But he called her from below her, 'Do not grieve. Your Lord has provided beneath you a stream. And shake the trunk of this palm tree toward you. It will drop upon you ripe, fresh dates.'" These verses highlight the miraculous nature of Jesus' birth in Islam, emphasizing Mary's piety and the divine intervention in the birth process. Also, this gives us a proof about the season in which Jesus was born. In the region of Bethlehem in the West Bank, including modern-day Palestine, the date palm harvest usually takes place during the late summer and early fall. This corresponds to the months of August, September, and October. This is the biggest proof that Jesus Christ was not born on December 25th. We Muslims have to maintain the purity of monotheism and follow the Islamic calendar's distinct celebrations, such as the one at the end of Ramadan and the Eid al-Adha. These are the two main festive celebrations in Islam, and they hold significant spiritual and communal importance. Muslims need to engage in acts of worship, charity, and community bonding during these occasions. The concept of Islamic exclusivity regarding celebrations is rooted in the teachings of the Quran and Sunnah. Celebrating Christmas as a festival is considered a minor form of shirk, associating partners with Allah. This means we have to avoid imitating non-Islamic celebrations that may conflict with Islamic principles, like Christmas, Halloween, New Year's Eve, and birthdays. It's important to acknowledge that Christmas, which falls on December 25th, has pagan roots and doesn't coincide with Jesus' actual birth date. As Muslims, we should focus on our own designated celebrations, such as the two Eids, and prioritize embodying generosity and strengthening family ties following Islamic teachings all year round. The spirit of generosity shouldn't be limited to a specific day or season, but rather embraced and practiced consistently throughout the year. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing, sharing, and engaging with our content to help spread awareness and promote greater understanding. Thank you for your support.